Run from me? Come here. I don't have it anymore. I don't have the napkin. She seems like she likes that other dog that's here.
Oh,
How
yeah.
long is the dog here?
Almost for the whole duration too. He just came in a couple days before.
That's good. That's
So
good.
they'll be boarding mates pretty much.
It'll be better for the other dog to leave her because she gets attached to everything.
Yeah, it's been working out well. We've been on a social session together. Him being friendly and a little bit braver kind of helps to kind of show her that everything's okay.
Yeah, I've noticed like when she's with my dog, it helps her be more a little brave
Yeah.
too. I've been watching. I went to the Stafford Marketplace to shop, and I sat in my car for like 30 minutes watching her walking session, and then I was like, oh, I gotta go in and try on at least something.
Good girl.
I'm doing so good, baby. I missed you. Yeah.
Since it's a pretty hot day and she had a good session earlier, we're gonna just go over some easier things today and then like an indoor social session in Lowe's.
That's good.
But yeah, if you want to go ahead and follow me, I actually have to grab something else real quick. So
I'm
I'll
gonna
start
set these on top of the car while you show me this.
Sure.
And have my full attention.
So this first one is something that we'll do kind of either really early in the morning and later on in the evening to kind of just touch base to see how she's doing behavior wise and to kind of assess how things are going, and also it helps to plan what to focus on. And I just refer to it as more of a freedom walk, but it also will help because she's so used to the pressure from pulling.
Yeah.
Like going back to that first video in the session is just rehabilitating and kind of getting her back used to understanding leash pressure and acknowledging it. And a good way to do that is just by having less of it. And so that's where like the freedom leash, and I'll grab the 30 foot so that way you can practice as well, comes to play. So all we'll do is we'll just kind of walk and she'll follow you. And then this should be a little bit easier since she's going to be so stuck on you for a bit. But I'll let you know when I just kind of use the leash pressure to help guide her from either going too far or staying out of the road. And you can just hang out with her as well, that's fine too, because she's so excited to see you.
I'm just as excited as her.
But the reason why I use something like this in a quiet, yeah, and then I use the other one too, I'll show you. But
she has a retractable one at home, she does. I haven't used it for a while because of the fact that it has, it's just like knotted together because she chewed through it.
Yeah. So, well, like right here, right?
Yeah.
Good girl. So I didn't have to use any pressure, so that's good. So she redirected back all on her own. I'm just gonna go ahead and give her a reward. And that's the main thing, is we want her to follow us with focus as much as possible, as opposed to just using the leash pressure constantly. And the shorter leashes, you end up triggering the pressure just because you run out of leash. Like right now, because I don't want her to go that way, now I'll hold the leash pressure. Good girl, this way. And then call her back in. So I just have more control of when that pressure is triggered, and you can give her a treat whenever. But just because I have more length on the leash, that's all. Whereas with the shorter one, you only have 4 to 6 feet before she ends up running out and it triggers itself. Whereas here, because she's following us, then it's perfectly fine. And then just activating the pressure, maybe like if she tries to go into the street or goes too far, whatnot. But that's it, just a nice, it should be a pretty casual experience. Some dogs with more energy or prey drive, they'll end up just kind of going out and overshooting and running out of leash still just as quickly.
Yeah.
But with her, especially since she is so like excited to see you, yeah, that too. You don't have to really use pressure as much. You kind of see here, we're walking and she'll get a little bit ahead, but then she'll stop and check back, or she'll slow down or wait. But the main thing is to not use pressure unless we actually need it. right?
I feel like that does make sense since I've noticed that like at the parks and stuff, she would pull me away always, unless, or like even at the neighborhoods with her like shorter leash, unless I sat it down and
Right.
stopped like trying to pull her away,
Good
and then she'd
girl.
come right to me.
Yeah. So like you don't always need it to control where she's going. Like right there, all I did was initiate the leash pressure because she was starting to go around the wrong way. And because I made it tight, she couldn't keep going that way, and then she made the proper decision to come back the other way. Instead of me, it's okay. Instead of me pulling her or coaxing her also, and this is part of the lesson too, instead of me micromanaging where she goes and when she goes and things like that, I want to try as much as possible for her to make the correct decisions, and I just kind of help her out by drawing boundary lines.
Okay, that does make sense. I
Like-
micromanage her a lot.
Yeah, and the only reason why we want to try to avoid doing that is because it'll actually further her development, because the less micromanaging that you do, the more thinking about certain situations that she actually has to do, especially when it comes to concentrating on walking and following you.
I feel like it's like kind of learning to not be the mama bird overwatcher again, because it's hard for me not to want to do her thinking for her.
The helicopter parents.
Yes, I am a helicopter parent.
It happens, but like a good
I
thing
see
to
that
remember.
I'm it though, so I need to like let her think.
And that's why this will be a good practice exercise for you. Like a good example, ever since back in the court, the only time that I've added pressure was when she almost went around the wrong way on the mailbox. Other than that, I've never had to pull on the leash once.
I saw you doing that when you were doing the walk with what's the other dog's name?
Shadow.
Not Shadow, it
Oh.
was the other one. Gilly, I think.
Oh yeah, Gilly.
Yeah, and she like started walking towards the sidewalk that had like
Yeah.
ramp, and you said no, you just like directed her with the leash.
And just creating that boundary, like here, she can't go there, so I just press once, and then as soon as she starts going the right way or she stops going the wrong way, I just release the pressure.
And you don't have to use any commands or anything, you just are doing that with her right now? Okay.
Yep, because we want her to know and react as much off of just the leash, because this is your tool.
Yeah.
This is your communication device with her, and that's why you want it as loose as possible, so that way when it is tight, it's communicating something with her. And so like, for example, if I wanted her to stop, good girl, and she got distracted too, but that's fine. Okay, and then we'll just walk this way. Good girl, perfect. We didn't need any pressure, we just had to have her notice where we're going and what we're doing, and she just followed along. And that's something really important to note, especially when you're going to be endgame servicing. You need to focus less on your dog and have your dog more focus on you.
Okay.
That's why. Oh, this is really good. So now that she's kind of giving you that attention, you can go ahead and break this up for her if you want. Since she's just following you. There you go.
Good girl. Good girl.
There you go.
Oh, good girl.
And sometimes people just really don't notice how much their dog can actually do on their own, but just because we don't ever give them the opportunity.
Yeah.
Right? So what I'll do is I'll run inside real quick. I gotta grab my other leash, and we'll go for a quick walk around the neighborhood together so you can practice. And I'll be there to kind of help spot.
Okay.
Alright, so right here, good girl. Just initiated the pressure because I didn't want her going that way. As soon as she redirected, I let go of the pressure. Same thing here. Okay. Good. And I'll just let you hang out with her here. I'm just gonna lock it
Take
at
a little
this link
break.
so that way
Okay.
she can't go any further.
Okay. Which way do you want to go?
Up to you. And then your goal is to just use as little pressure as possible. So for this one, because it's just a walking exercise and we want her to get used to following us, that's where you're also going to have to think about how long you want her to just stop and smell things, you know. A lot of times with dogs and people, the walk is two very different things. Usually for people, they always want to try to get somewhere and do something.
I try, yeah,
So
I try
ours
to
is A to
stop
B.
and let her to smell the things sometimes.
Because for the dogs, the walk is everything in between A to B.
Yeah, because I know that a lot of times if she wants to do more of the smelling if it's new that places we are, or if there's like a new smell or something. So I try to let her smell for like a couple seconds. It's when I start noticing her like getting stuck in it that I try to pull her away after that.
And that'll be the next thing too, is instead of trying to pull her physically away, calling for her to, you know, get her focused and then asking her to follow you. Okay. Very good.
Did you tighten her that time?
Nope.
Pull her back? Okay. Because I was like, I didn't. I don't think so. You walking with us, baby girl?
Good girl. Oh, I forgot. Go ahead and take my belt. You might need to adjust it too, so that way it fits you, but then you'll have treats as well. Trying to zip that up so it doesn't fall out.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Here, I'll hold on to her for you. And it tightens just like a dog leash, so if you need to tighten it up, you definitely can.
Like this. Cool. I love that you said like a dog leash. I work with dogs and I have the most trouble with their harnesses and stuff.
So you feed the inside through the back and then you pull up the front.
Thank you.
There you go.
My parents never taught me how to do this clearly.
There you go, and then just do it a couple more times, because you're definitely a lot thinner than I am. There you go, and then I would just go and do the same thing on the other side. Usually when you're going the right way, you'll feel it getting tighter and looser as well.
Yeah, I feel like getting a bit tighter.
Yeah, you're doing good. It's almost there.
Okay, I think that's good.
Okay, so long as you're not having to struggle with it. There you go, and then the zipper, this one here is going to be the treats.
Do you want one, love?
And it's a good habit to just get into rewarding her whenever she's just focused and following you.
Okay.
You know, just reward her for maintaining focus, and it'll also keep you engaged with her as well because you're paying attention to her on your walk.
Okay.
A lot of times people will just check out, and then only when their dog checks out and starts pulling will they check back in. We want to try to have the walk be actually together.
Okay. I think typically my issue is just being like having my eyes on her 24/7. Like that's, I even get like cricks in my neck and from like just needing to look where she is to make sure she's okay.
Yeah.
But her being here has been helping me a little bit, and like when she's away from me, it helps me like remind me that she can be okay without me.
Yeah, no, she's been doing great.
Yes, I've seen it. And I love it. She looks happy. Girl.
Good girl. See, so she's just looking at you now, following you.
She's doing so good.
There you go. So go ahead and apply a momentary pressure. There you go. Good girl.
That was good, Indy. I'm bad at giving her the treat right away.
What I do is preload a treat. So right after you've given one, getting another one ready.
Okay.
So that way when she checks back in on you naturally next time, then just go ahead and give her one.
Okay.
So we just wait here, right? So don't do any pressure. She checks in right there. Go ahead and offer her a treat. Okay, you see that? And that way you're just rewarding behavior that she's doing all on her own. It was unprompted either by the leash or by us. And so it just helps with her personal development. She's like, well, I know that if I just check in with her, even if she doesn't ask, then I might get a reward, which is perfect.
That's true. You keep going? Good girl.
So go ahead and change direction and just start walking. Yep, don't give her any feedback. I know it's hard. Good. All right, now do it one more time. Just turn around and start walking. Don't give her any feedback. Just pay attention to when she watches you. There you go.
Girl, yeah, she likes to run into.
We can work on that later on. Right now it's just kind of broad.
No,
But
I
so
get
far
it,
so good.
For sure. You gotta start somewhere.
She's doing good. Now go ahead and change direction again. Don't give her any input and just get ready to give her praise when she redirects back to you. There you go.
Good girl.
Perfect. I know. So you can kind of see how little you actually need that leash pressure, and so how annoying it could be too. If somebody's already doing what you're asking them to do, but then you're still micromanaging them, you gotta think of it as like that supervisor at work that you don't need.
I'm being my mom to her is what I'm doing.
And as long as you're cognitive of it, then you can work on it. A lot of times
Yes.
people do it without even thinking.
The
it's
first
gonna be the
thing
problem.
is admitting you have a fault.
Like I said, it's something that we usually do just because at first we have to help them out a lot, especially with
Yeah.
puppies. But then eventually we actually don't anymore. We just never realize it. That's all. Okay.
She became not a puppy very quickly.
Yeah, no, she's pretty smart. Good girl. Very good. And you kind of see there, because you almost went about like 8 feet or so, she would have gotten pressure anyways from your leash in the shorter one.
Which one?
The-
Oh, mine, yeah.
The shorter one, yeah. Oop, watch out for that crack. Good girl. Very good.
Her daycare. Ah, sorry, baby.
Very good. So we'll head back home, give her another water break, and then we'll load her up in her car. We're gonna switch gear and equipment, and then we'll go to Lowe's, and then I'll walk you through that exercise. So now that we've given her less input and direction and seen how much she can follow us, the goal is to try to carry that through even when you're on a shorter leash, even in a more distracted environment.
Yeah.
What I'll do is I'll take the lead first so I can kind of show you and see how she is, give her some time to settle in, see how scared she'll be, all those good things, and then we'll give you a turn.
Girl.
Very good, right there. She's like, wait a second, I dropped it. Find it?
Find it?
There it is. Good girl.
She's gonna be unhappy when she gets home and realizes I gave her other bones to the other girl.
That's okay. You can always get more.
Yeah. I let her go and pick them out, and I thought they were bone bones, but they're like pig bones.
Go ahead and just keep walking because she's unsure of the bag. So just watch her, but you don't actually need any of this pressure. And that's good because, especially when it comes to fear, and I was rewatching the first video, and that's something that we'll have to practice too, is just not pulling her towards whatever she's afraid of, but instead, and it's kind of hard to describe, but I'll show you. Instead, just trying to keep her from running away from whatever she's afraid of,
Yeah.
and giving her the opportunity to just get comfortable without forcing the issue. The best way you can kind of describe it is like if you were at an amusement park like Kings Dominion and you're really scared to go on a roller coaster, but your friends love it and they're really trying to help you go. So they really want to encourage you and keep you in the line, right? Not let you kind of chicken out and back out and try to stay positive and try to keep you there even though you're afraid.
Yeah.
But then you have that one friend that is doing it completely wrong by like kind of almost scolding you for running away or calling you a baby or pulling you to keep you into the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to two of the same kind of ideals, but definitely different approaches. So we just want to keep her from running away from whatever she's scared of, without having to like force her or pull her towards it.
I think my idea has always been that like if I pull her, she'll know that she can come to me to be safe. But I see how it could be like she can mistake that.
Yeah, and we want her to come to us when she's scared, and I'll kind of go over how to do that as well, you know. So instead of her like seeing the bag and running the opposite way, seeing the bag and like running to you is preferably the end game goal there.
Yeah.
So, good girl.
One step at a time. Like,
Yeah.
She's too hot.
Gotcha. Yeah, she's been pretty good about just staying in the front seat. I got one of the clip-on as well.
Okay. She's always been with good car rides. The first time I picked her up, we had to do an hour car ride, and she just fell asleep on the way.
Poor thing. Good girl. Very good. There you go. So yeah, go ahead and get ready to preload. Good girl. Perfect. Good girl. And it'll be the same idea as in the neighborhood, except now, of course, when she gets scared, we'll kind of hold boundary of where she can run away, and then we'll encourage her to come back to us. If that doesn't work, then I'll go to her, or I'll try to direct her to a safer, quieter place. So all we do here is I usually start off in the quieter parts of the store, usually further in the back, and then also coming in different times of the day will help us too. Hi, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Thank you.
That's okay. Good girl. There you go.
Every time she
Good girl.
gets paying attention back, should I be giving her one?
I always just give her acknowledgement, and then I just kind of gauge the situation. If she's really distracted or overwhelmed, I'll give her more treats. But if she's doing fine and she's checking in periodically, I'll just give her a treat every 3 or 5 redirects. So I'll just count in my head, like that's 1. Checking out. Okay. Looking around. That's 2. There you go. And then,
I thought she was quite distracted.
and that's 3. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah. But I would always at least acknowledge every time she looked too.
Okay.
So, good girl. And I would just count in my head. Good. So go ahead and turn and go around the back that way.
This way?
Go.
We're just there.
Okay, and this will give her an opportunity to check it out and then, or follow you. Good. So it's kind of important, especially when we're out socializing her, is to see what she's interested in, see what she's unsure of, and see what she decides to do. And there, she thought about it. She wanted to check it out for a minute, but then she saw that you were leaving and she wanted to go with you. Good girl. So, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. So just try to get used to just giving her praise and pets.
Okay.
And then every 3rd or 5th time, then give her a treat. Say, at least good girl. Yep. Go ahead and take her right and watch where she goes. Perfect. Good girl. There you go. Very good. And I've got more treats in the car if we need. But she.
What is this? That's what we're feeding her.
Oh, it's just freeze-dried chicken.
Oh, okay. It looked like chicken of some sort, but I was like, it kind of feels like wood chips, so I don't know.
Good. So you kind of noticed there she might be apprehensive of the crutch. So it's good to just kind of take note and keep walking. And that way she can kind of absorb it and get used to it while she's walking with you. But she's not running away from it, but you can tell it does get her attention and she's a little unsure. But there you go. Good girl. But she's not running away from it or anything, so that's perfect.
You have one step.
So go ahead and turn down one of the empty aisles there so she can follow you. Hi, how you doing? Sorry, excuse us. Good. So you kind of see there, that's why you want to like still pay attention to what she's focused on and where she's going. Just because she got distracted by the person coming by and she just kind of froze, but then she redirected back to you to continue following. It'll be a little bit easier when you have the leash because you'll notice things when you're paying attention, but you know, the same rule applies to not let it go tight unless you needed it to, like right there. Good girl. And then I just let it loose again. So, because I don't know what's around the corner or if there was maybe somebody coming by, I just want to go and check things out first, and then I want her to follow. Good girl. Yep.
Notice people get scared sometimes when the dog is.
Yep. So I'm going to go this way. Just because there's a lot going on there, I'm going to shorten the leash up as well. Good girl. The main thing I want you to notice is I did all that without pulling on her. This is the thing too, and that'll just make both of your walking experiences more enjoyable.
Yes, for sure. I injured myself like right the week I got her, my back and my shoulder, and it's not been. That was the main reason, honestly, we needed to get her trained because I couldn't keep walking her, bring her pulling. She's gotten a lot better about pulling now, and about these other things that have become more apparent.
Okay, so just guiding her this way. I'm letting her kind of linger and smell there. And all I'm doing there is just slowing down my pace, keeping the leash loose. And then, for example, here, if I wanted to pretend like I was going to be shopping for blinds, I'll just kind of stop. Good girl. Very good. And then she stops, and that's part of the starting and stopping. And then when she starts again, but I'm still stopped, I let the leash do the work. Good girl. Hey, checking out blinds, checking out blinds. Good girl, good wait. And then starting again.
Good girl.
Yeah. So you kind of start to get this sense of how little you have to do. The main thing is
I think that's the hardest part, is to let her do it on her own.
And just reward her, and at least with acknowledgement, you know. Thank you for stopping, you know, thank you for following me. All those things, it just helps to encourage her to continue doing the right thing. All right, you ready? All right, easy peasy. Just try to keep it nice and loose. If you need to, you can shorten it. If you need to, you can give her a link. Good girl. Good girl. Yep. There you go. She'll like, I'll check them out too. Good girl. Okay. Good. There you go. There you go. Good. And you'll notice as soon as you start going and she runs out of leash, it'll naturally create more pressure for you. Okay, so just let that linger. Good. There you go.
I didn't really pull her, I just was kept walking. Like, I could feel a little tension.
Yep.
A tiny bit. And then she corrected. Good job. Good job.
And that's the benefit of getting her actually used to leash pressure as opposed to just using leash pressure all the time.
I haven't really understood the difference between that until like seeing it.
It's what helps with like the heel work. A lot of people just always pull and ask them to heel, and because they keep going out too far, but then they always do that.
To do it, like, at first I would say heel, and then it just became automatic almost for me to do it, wait, and to do the clicking and pulling.
So this way now you're actually thinking about more of what she's doing, and she's doing the same, instead of just automatically doing things. Good girl. She's doing good. Go ahead and take another turn as if you're gonna check out something, and then we'll head back. And then just wait. Good, there you go. It was hard, right? I saw that you wanted to try to give it an extra tug. That's where the reconditioning is going to come in on your end.
Yeah.
We need to give her just a little bit of time to figure out what's going on. That's all. Hi, how you doing? Good? Good girl. Yeah, usually with like there you go. There it is. Good. She's like, who's that? Good girl.
We should get a smart thing, Indy.
Yeah, usually stores like this and PetSmart, they're very friendly with dogs, so that's a good place that you can practice, especially during this heat. Usually I'll try to buy something while I'm here, but I already got like a tape measure and stuff, so we're good this time. And then pet store is always pretty easy to buy something.
Here?
Yeah, outside. Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Yeah.
You can try to make it into like a real world scenario.
That's what I like to do sometimes too. Like when I'll just picture, I used to do it a lot more before I moved back from college because I did online classes, so it gave me a time to be out in social.
There you go. Good. So a good habit is to just try to keep your arm loose and just keep walking where you want to go. Because what's going to happen is you're going to create a linear force by just moving in a different direction. So try practicing here. Go like do a figure 8 around this here and come back through, and just keep your arm loose. Hi, how you doing? Hi. Oh, good girl. You saying hi? Good girl. Good. There you go, and just keep walking. There you go. Good. Good girl. Good. So you kind of see how it creates that pressure for you. All right, now let's head back towards, you wanted to check out planters. I think they're outside front this way.
My mom's birthday. So
Oh, perfect.
I need good planters.
There you go. That way we can pick up something.
I think the reason I don't like it being loose is I'm really OCD about it, like getting underneath her legs.
That's fine. All you have to do is just shorten the leash so it has less slack, but your goal is still the same.
Yeah.
It's still to keep it nice and short, and that's all I do to transition into heel work. You know, you start micromanaging more because you run out of leash a lot sooner, but it's just because she has less room to move away from you. That's all.
Okay, tiny planters.
Very good. There you go. Good girl.
Has her stomach been doing well since she's been with you?
Oh yeah, no,
Okay.
she's had solid stools.
Good, good.
I was gonna say too, I give my pups multivitamins, so if you want, I can throw them in hers. It just covers everything, like the antioxidants and the gut health and the omega oils and stuff.
Sure, I feed her, is it like an orange container?
It's similar. It's the same
Okay.
kind of green.
I feed
Yeah.
it to my other dog at home and her sometimes. She was on probiotics.
Yeah, it has those two in it.
For almost 3 weeks while she was on her UTI medicine. Very expensive UTI.
I remember you mentioned something like that, and that's what helped my lab cattle dog, was just starting to give her supplements like that.
Yeah.
And so I just end up giving it to all my pups. I was like, I might as well. But yeah, we can add that to her. But she's been doing great. Oh, also she just goes outside to pee with everybody else as well. I don't have to give her a command. You can still try to prompt it if you want, but she hasn't had any issues with that. We just kind of go out and she just does her thing.
Yeah, I think typically she will, as long as she's not with my other dog, Callie, because Callie just scares the crap out of her.
Aw, poor thing.
Callie has bitten her a couple times, so.
Aw, definitely got to have to work on that relationship for sure.
Yeah, she's a 9-year-old bulldog, and she wasn't socialized until we got her at 7.5.
Gotcha.
She was used for breeding.
Aw.
So.
Good girl. So here's good practice, right? So if you wanted her attention, you can do 2 things. You can call her name and get a treat ready.
Okay.
And then
Garage.
that's fine. And or just give her praise.
Okay.
Or you could just keep walking to where you want to go and just keep your arm loose. See? There you go. So you have to sometimes just fight that initial impulse to call and pull her right away from something.
I should still praise her, right?
Hmm? Good girl.
Good girl.
You a hot dog today?
I know that water looks good, right? Good girl. There you go. And they have more flowers in front too. So here's another good opportunity. My go-to is whenever possible to really think about what I want her to respond to. So if I want her to respond to the leash, I'll just keep walking and then I'll get ready to give her praise when she follows. Or if I want her to respond to her name, then I make sure the leash is still loose, I call her, and then I, give her praise when she responds.
I just tried to do the indie one. I think she got my attention before I got hers.
It's okay. There you go. Good girl. That's fine. All right, and then we'll just start heading back out.
I just was trying to hang out my dog on.
That was good. Good girl. And people's perception while you're out will matter too. I mean, it shouldn't.
What they think of her?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I am.
And
it
how
does.
much in control you are of your dog.
The service part,
Mhm.
like people, they can tell you to take your service dog out if they're like out of control, right?
Mhm. And that's why it's and that's why it's important that you're also not having to constantly micromanage her because of just appearance too.
But micromanaging just makes everyone think she's a puppy.
Or that she isn't self-controlled, but she is. That's the thing. We just have to give her minute inputs and guidance every now and then, but for the most part she's been really good about recognizing the leash pressure and then readjusting her focus back onto you. Good. So now to make sure she doesn't go into the main aisle before you. Perfect. There you go. Good. Good. There you go. Good girl. Good. So a verbal command that was needed when it was needed, and then she responded. So it was perfect. And another part of the reason why is because we're not constantly pulling her from things. We're not constantly asking for her attention. And so whenever we do, it just also has more impact. Good. There you go. Go ahead and shorten up the slack on the leash since it's going to be a more crowded area. And then just try to keep the leash nice and loose still. And just wait here. Good. Perfect. Hi. All right, and then just go. Perfect. There you go. So when you're going to be maneuvering around higher traffic main areas, you want to just give less room for her to hit before the leash automatically kind of gives her those corrections. And that's all it is. Good girl. Good.
Oh, that was good.
Mm-hmm. There you go. And now you might also need to pay attention because you might get distracted with whatever's on your inside. And you might need to slow down or stop or speed up. Good. Very good. There you go. There you go. Go ahead and get her back this way. Just by walking. Yep. There you go. Good. Perfect. And that's what I mean by applying that leash pressure when she's really distracted and there's too much going on. If she stops checking in with you, then you just go, and that leash pressure of you also just kind of being further away, it kind of forces her to pay attention and to follow again. Yeah, good girl. And now she can kind of take in everything without having to be right in the middle of everything was the problem there. So even just moving a little bit further away can make it easier for her. There you go, good. Good girl. Because we want her to get overwhelmed so we can see when she's getting overwhelmed, and she'll get too excited. She'll start moving too fast, or she'll, start running away from us. We want to recognize those moments, and then we want to take the time to work on it. Usually the best way that you can do that is giving her space and time. So just generating a little bit more space so she's not so frantic about moving away from things that are overwhelming, and then just giving her time to absorb the situation and then calm back down. That's all. She did really good.
Happens when I get overwhelmed in the situation too, and I'm stuck there.
Yeah. So just always try to think in the back of your mind, like a good emergency plan, right?
Yeah.
So like if you're going down the main aisle, you see that there's a whole bunch of people coming your way and a bunch of carts and things like that, and she starts freaking out. Just go ahead and take a left or a right. You don't want to completely avoid the situation, but that way you can move into the aisle a little bit, so that way you can see everything going by, get a chance to get used to it, and then go back when it's a little bit calmer. Good. So here will be a good test, right? So just trying to keep her on your right side here, keep the leash nice and loose, and then just walking through the crowd. Good, just like that. Perfect. And then because she's getting this so well, we'll probably just go over like how to keep her close and how to use your body also to help control her in those like heel areas and things like that. But she's been doing great so far. And all we did was just kind of work on her recognizing leash pressure. Have any questions on anything?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
A lot of the stuff that you did say today, I think I heard like a little bit in the video, so I'll go back and watch that if I do, because you were telling Gilly's parents some of the same things. Yeah. I was trying to pick up on them a little bit before I came, so I might know a bit, but it's harder than it looks. It's like easier to watch it and be like, that sounds easy.
It's because I do it a lot too.
Yeah.
But like, you'll have to make minor adjustments, because he pulls a lot because he gets excited. She pulls because she gets scared. But it's still the same thing. You want them to recognize that they themselves are pulling because they feel that leash pressure, and then you want them to do something about it. A lot of times we always feel like we have to do something about it.
Yeah. Okay, well, is that all for me?
That's it. If you guys wanted to just hang out with her, you can, or she can go back and take a break, because I'm just gonna start working with the other pup now. So it's up to you.
Okay. Well, how